Each year, Microsoft Research hosts hundreds of influential speakers from around the world, including leading scientists, renowned experts in technology, book authors, and leading academics, and makes videos of these lectures freely available.
Hi, my name is Bambang Parmanto. I'm from the School of Health and Rehab Sciences of the University of Pittsburgh. And my project is on personal health records. The first time I read about MyHealthBits and read James' paper, I thought that, whoa, those guys are really ambitious. But the more I learn about it, it makes sense and looks like doable. So the idea of my project is very simple. If MyHealthBits try to record for everything, how about just doing it for the subset of it, so anything that related to health. And I thought that since health is a subset of life, that must be really much simpler than MyHealthBits. And it turned out that that's not true. And then imitation is the highest form of flattery. I named the project as MyHealthBits. And hopefully Jim won't sue me for that copyright infringement. So I'll.
Do you have a website?
Yes, but it's still not running. So I'll talk a bit about personal health record, and just a brief background on it, what it is, and the current states of it, and then the plan for the project, and I'll also report the progress so far. Okay. The type of health record that we know usually called electronic health record, and the difference between personal health record and electronic health records, EHR is usually provider-centric, meaning that it's owned by provider to support provider. So it's owned by hospitals or doctors to support their job. And that's why usually billing and reimbursement will be first to be automated, and then clinical and anything related to care will be the latest, because anything related to financial usually is very important, more important than the clinical or personal record. And one patient, as a result, usually one patient have many electronic health records scattered around many providers or many hospitals. And no one EHR usually has everything. And as I mentioned, that PHR usually is more patient-centric. And so PHR consists of all EHR at personally generated information, sort of like if I use wearable monitoring devices like, I want to monitor how many steps I take today, or how many miles I run today, and things like that, and also diets and medication, over-the-counter medication, and also if I want to put in my web log. So usually PHR treatment info and disease information is perceived to those kind of information combined will lead to more active participants of the patient in their own health. And this is the belief why PHR is very important. As you might have known that the PHR is getting more popular in the last probably few years, 2-3 years or so. And this is the assumed benefits is to improve, because the more health information with the more availability of the health information will lead to improved patient safety, and then also consumer will get more info on the decision making of their own health. And although legally electronic health record or patient health record is owned by patient, but in reality usually is owned by the provider, and by having maintaining their own record, hopefully there's a more sense of ownership, and the patient become the co-pilot of their own care. And is that true? And Paul Tang just recently published his study. It's not really a large study, study of from the Palo Alto Foundation, and it turned out that yes, it's true that timely access to, and that's for very simple personal health record, like health lab tests and a simple record of the visit with doctors. It leads to improvement in patients' behavior, meaning that patients change their behavior as a result of that, and 1/5 or 20% of the patients did so. And that's the sort of anecdotal confession of some of the patients, that by knowing their blood lipids and knowing their blood pressure, they can adjust or cholesterol level, they adjust their diet. And one important feature that is provided by PHR, the current PHR, is the connection with the doctor, with the provider. And it turned out that patients felt more connected, and they didn't abuse the privilege of like flooding the doctors with spam or any unnecessary email. And this is I'd like to give you an example of this is provider-based personal health record. So this is personal health record provided by healthcare provider. In this case, it's my institution, UPMC in Pittsburgh. And this is my own record. So we have a health summary there, including lab tests, and also we have a reminder. Let's say you have to do cholesterol testing or screening in the next 3 months, or it's already outdated, and then or any other vaccination that I have to go through. It also provided, here we can see the messaging. I can communicate with my primary care about recent visits or about my problem. And yeah, this is an example of the email. And this is another example from Palo Alto Medical Foundation. And as we can see, it's almost exactly the same, and the features there are almost the same: has recent visits, test results, messaging, and appointments. And well, the problem with this is almost there's no innovation whatsoever. It's basically what they do is provide a subset of health information that they have to patients. And that, with a simple service like that, it turned out to have a high impact already. So the goal of the project is to move from this to a much more advanced personal health record that we will record everything that related to health. And this is the optimal characteristic of PHR based from the American Medical Informatics Association white paper. First, it has to be lifelong and comprehensive, so meaning that it should consist of any data that related to health, and from and it's lifelong. So of course the current PHR doesn't have this feature, and then it has to be accessible from any place, anywhere. So any place, any time. So the optimal health record should be, well, to make it easy, would be web-based. And then we must provide health management tool to help patient with health record and to help them maintaining their own health. And then of course the fourth one is of course private and secure. And then the fifth one is very important. The patient have a full control as to who have access to it and what data that he or she wanted to share. And so let's move on to MyHealthBits. Sorry, it will be lifelong and longitudinal. So the first challenge is how to integrate all multimodal data sets, from images, email, web, and how to manage it in an integrated database. So it's similar, in a way, similar to MyHealthBits. And then the difference is that in healthcare, standards, attributes are everything. So there are standards for that the data should look like this one, and the data, the database should contain these fields, and so that's the first challenge that we have. So our challenge is how to design schema that meets the standard, but also user-friendly and easy enough to be used by users. And of course, we'll add a lot of personal things, so many personally generated data, and then also helping users managing their own health. And then another thing that will be added is communication, including email, and then because we have been experimenting with video conferencing between, in this case, we use it for tele-rehab between patient and rehab therapists. We will also add video conferencing to the data as well. And then we'll address the privacy and patient control later on in the project. Well, I thought that because health is a subset of life, and I can just easily use my MyHealthBits shell and database and then just implement it. And it turned out that our need doesn't allow that. At the beginning, I asked Jim, well, can I have the source code? And well, it turned out that not at this moment. Well, because we need much more flexibility. So we decided that we have to build on our own, and so that created a lot of problem. And so we have to build it from the ground up. But because there are a lot of advanced features from MyHealthBits, we'd like to borrow the ideas from MyHealthBits, or even use components or part of MyHealthBits that we can use. And although sort of, the storage or record management is similar, and then web and email capture are also similar. Video capture is new, and then we use also the same mechanism in the database, like stored procedure. Also, the way we view the data are quite similar as well. And so we'd like to record, the doctor's visit, for example, or therapist visit, and then email, and in this case, on email that related to health. So please subset of what Jim is trying to do. And then sometimes, in my case, I browse web, and then it's my interest. It related to my interest, and I want to save that because I want to save that web page. For example, related to exercise or vitamin, things like that. So we will also, and then also. In one of our projects, we have a therapy session, and then personal data monitor. We have problem with this. I don't know if any of you work on this. It's not that every health monitoring devices that have their own proprietary data capture, and they don't want you to really look at the data because they want to sell the service of managing your data. So that's the problem that we have right now. And for example, for the pedometer, even for simple things like pedometer, because we thought that the pedometer would be very simple, and then we can just capture the data. It turns out that if you plug into the computer, it will go directly to their website, and then the data will go to their database, and there's no way to interrupt it and then capture the data in between. And then this is a real video conferencing that we have, and then also we'll also have wearable. The difference is wearable media, and this one is the one that we enter it by ourselves. Well, in a way, it's similar to MyHealthBits, but and we like to view the record, based on a data type, and then the health information type. as well as the timeline was similar to my life page. So the progress so far, we have designed the schema based on the standard is called continuity of care record. That's the standard that has been approved by ASTM. And then addressing integrating multimodal database in data sets in the database, and then how to present it using, we borrowed the idea from Timeline from the University of Maryland. And then on the personal side, capturing web and email, as well as capturing from wearable devices, in this case, speedometer. And then on the communication side, we have captured video conferencing, and then also from email. And these are the type of records. So, for example, there's a personal information, and then health condition, and then health history, and the administrative stuff like providers and insurance. And this is what it looks like. So we have time over here. In this case, monthly. We can choose the monthly or quarterly, annually, or even daily. And then this is the personal health record data that we have. And then we can choose which one to show. And in a way, it's the interface is similar to my life page. And we have tabs over there. One of the challenges is to separate which health records should be updated very frequently, and which health records are relatively static, meaning that, for example, you won't change insurance monthly. You probably change insurance at most every year, or probably every several years, or you change providers usually only once in a few years. The same thing with personal information is quite static. And health conditions usually is so we organize it based on the frequency of from the very active to the very static one. And this is an example. We can set the timeline from what date to what date, and then also presents images and web over there. And we also have slider over there similar to the one in Timeline. And this is an example of we only select a few types of health records instead of everything. And we provide previewer, in this case, a preview of CT scan. This is a preview of email. And this preview of web page, and we can also adjust the size or of the grid from small grid to medium grid. And these are we provide facilities to manage a different type of information, and I have the demo with me. You can try it if you're interested. I won't do demo over here because it'll be faster just doing screenshot, and it won't crash. As we can see here, the way we organize data is still using document base. Everything there are document. One of the challenges that we found is that in health record we have a document-based data as well as data like continuous data. If you want to monitor what's the progress with your jogging in the past few months, that's continuous data, and we want to compare that over time, for example. That wouldn't be wouldn't be correctly represented using the document base like this. So one of the next work that we plan to do is to have event-based personal schema, so that, for example, if you if you're diagnosed with a certain medical condition, or you visit a doctor, and as a result of that, doctors order CT scan or order certain tests, that all the documents or data related to that event should be organized together. So that's what we plan to do. And actually, the original schema looks like that. But in the initial implementation, we opt for the easy schema first. And oops, sorry. Also, everything in here has time, as Jim mentioned. So even health condition, we can track it down over time as well. Or because this one has to be lifelong record, so if you change providers or if you change insurance, we can also track it down. And okay, so the next step, we plan to populate this with real data. So we'll recruit volunteers for that. And well, we have been using our own data for this at this point. And then tuning the schema to first to use health event based instead of document based at this point. For example, yeah, if you have CT scan, why do you have CT scan? What event is related to that CT scan, for example, and add more and more and richer data. And then the challenge, another challenge is to strike a balance between a standard. The reason why standard is important in healthcare is that most of this data, like CT scan, doctor's visit, for example, we will get it from providers. So we need to conform to the standard that's already adopted by the community. Or if you want to send the data to other providers, that we should be able to do that. So, but if you see the standard, it's very it's very boring, and it's also not user friendly. So we need to strike a balance between how to make it easy for consumer to use it, but it's also follow the standard. And then as related to MyHealthBits, one of the features that we'd like to have is we probably an advanced MDFS promotion from the current version of MyHealthBits to have intelligent record detection or watcher. So if I know that this document is in X-ray, then promote it to X-ray type, for example, instead of annotating it manually by ourselves. Or if it's email or it's other type of document, then the system should be able to classify it automatically. And then capture more wearable devices. As I mentioned, the challenge is that no wearable device manufacturer want you to have your own data. I think the reason is because wearable devices are very inexpensive. And the only business model that makes sense other than selling it is to managing the data. And then the challenge of managing data points and document at the same time, or numerical over time data and documents in the same time. And then we have included email and video conferencing in this, but we haven't really tried what's the best way for communication to be done. And the current version of personal health record that provided by hospitals, so you have to do this on their own side. So you don't have any control. You don't have control of the data and this like. So you have to log onto their site and then to communicate with the doctors. And our idea is to use our own email, our own video conferencing to communicate. And then you have the data, and you can store the data on your own personal health record. So that's basically it. Thank you. Any questions?
Very
free access to your health information data in the US? You're able to get the results of scans and diagnosis?
Legally, yes. So the data is produced, but I think it's very rare for patients to have that electronically sent to you right now.
So to fill out, so to complete your MyHealthBits,
Mm-hmm.
you have to
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. That's. Mm-hmm. But right now, because personal health record is getting more and more popular, and also there are a lot of efforts right now on the part of providers and government for sharing the data as part of actually new legislations. So at least it'll be easier for consumer to retrieve their own data from providers. Although legally is possible right now, or it's legally is yours, but it's very difficult to do that in practice. Yeah. Yes, for this to work, we need to get a lot of data from different providers.
And have you thought about having a two-way process as well, so that you could then, so that you pick this information?
Okay, definitely, yes. That's why standard is important in this case. So when we plan to build model for that as well, to import data and also to export data in standard format. Yeah. Yes.
Growth into the extensions for what you're talking about. One example is that this could all be done for animals as well as people.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, might be more feasible to get data for your pets than for yourself.
That's an interesting.
The second analogy is that people want to invest their own record keeping, like their food intake or their exercise program.
Oh yes.
Or their sports activities, or their yoga classes or other kinds of things.
Yes. In addition to automatic automatic capture from wearable devices, we'll provide where consumer maintain their own. For example, jogging. Some device can provide you with that, but if you don't want to use that device, you can enter how many miles I jog today, and you can track it down over time. And I failed to mention that there are many sort of providers, database or patient record database provider available. So you can rent a space. For example, with WebMD, you can rent space to maintain your own personal health record. And I think quite a few services right now available, as well as personal health record software. So you can buy the software and maintain it. And all of the software is still very simple. It's basically sort of access database and provide, and you can record the basic things similar to the one provided by hospitals or insurance. So nowhere near like you can record, you can store everything. Type.
Okay, well, thanks a lot for your
Thank you.